Hello everybody, my name is Lena. Welcome to another video quarantine. Today I wanted to jump in the bandwagon and bring you some recommendations for you to read during quarantine. It takes a lot of time to get used to it, so the easiest that I can make you spend this time, the better. So I have here like 15 or something book recommendations that I think that are going to be really able to help you go through this all. There are three main reasons for these books to be in this list. The first one will be that it's a pretty long series, so you will have time and time to read this. The second reason is that it's a pretty light-hearted book in a way that there's not too much death or nothing grim dark here. They are pretty standard, good, light-hearted. And the third reason is because they are really immersive. So you will be turning those pages around in no time. Let's get into it. You know they are long, but you have something else to do? No. So this will be a perfect time for you to actually pick up The Way of Kings by Brad Anderson. This is only part 1. But yeah, they're super thick boys. The reason that I chose this is because they are really immersive, and it's going to take you a while to read this because they are super long. They are currently 3 books out. The world is so well crafted that you are going to spend day and night reading this. And that's going to keep your mind really occupied. Let me tell you a bit about The Way of Kings. So we have this world that is basically kind of raging in storms, and we have this cool story about these Knights of Radiance. They battle the Voidbringers. The last time that they were here, they decided that they no longer wanted to fight for humanity. So they left us behind, and they left us with their magical swords and the magical armor. So now there's this thing going on that perhaps the Voidbringers are coming back and we don't have the Knights of Radiance to defend us. It's fantastic. So now a really easy one. You can read the Grishaverse. I didn't read it until December of last year. You can start by Shadow and Bone and make your way to King of Scars, which is the latest one that has been released. These are super easy to read. There's nothing kind of traumatic on them, although you will be feeling really attached to these characters, and this is so easy to read that it will keep you busy for a while. In the first book of the Grishaverse, Shadow and Bone, we discover that we are in this world that is kind of devastated by this rift of darkness that set the continent apart. So we discovered that our main protagonist is going to be, of course, the chosen one. And she discovers that she has this power that can summon sunlight. And she's going to, of course, go to this super prestigious place where she's going to train to become a Grisha and use her powers to defeat evil. Super quick read, super immersive, and you will go through them in no time. This is a standalone. This is the Sword of Kaigen by ML1. This is probably one of my favorite books of all time already. I have to warn you that some dark things happen in this book, but you will be so immersed in this story that you won't care about the real world because you need to save this village from destruction. And that is something that is probably going to be good for now. So you will be completely immersed in this book. The Sword of Kaigen is set in this village called the Sword of Kaigen. And their main reasons to existence is that they are the warriors that are supposed to stop any attack that comes to this empire called Kaigen. And we are going to follow 2 main points of view. One will be Misaki and one will be Mamoru. They are mother and son, and we soon discover that Misaki is not actually the housewife that every woman in Kaigen is supposed to be. And rather soon also we're going to find out that Mamoru is not the brainwashed kid that is supposed to be in this village. And we have tons of magic in here. Every family in this village has their special ability, the special power, and there are tons of magic throughout the whole book, so I highly recommend it. Then we have The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This is also a standalone, but this is a sci-fi murder mystery. It's so addictive. You will continue reading just to figure out what the fuck is going on, because the premise of this book is that we are going to follow Aiden. He just wakes up in this house and he discovers that he is trapped here until he discovers who is killing Evelyn Hardcastle. The really cool thing is that he is going to repeat the same day over and over again, but he's going to wake up every day in a different host. And that host, well, that body, actually has their own way of thinking. And the whole book you're reading about Aiden colliding with this person, with this host personality, and it's so cool and so great. This is my favorite book of all time. You should really read Seven Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. It's going to give you a hook and it's going to give you some entertaining for a while. It's here, the monster. I have here The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. I mean, you have 14 books to go through till this quarantine is over. It is the time to get to the Wheel of Time. And also, this is super immersive. You're going to be following Ran and you're going to love every piece of information that you're going to discover through the whole series. I mean, they're pretty thick also, so you're going to be busy for a while. So I will highly recommend this time to actually give yourself a chance to read The Wheel of Time, because what better time than this one? Another fantasy that I have here is A Chorous of Dragons by Jen Lyons. This is a super underrated series, and it is pretty underrated because it's really hard to read. It is going to take you time to go through it because we're going to have continuous jumps between timelines. And the reason for this is that we're going to follow our main character, Kieran, while he's telling his story to his jailer. And at the same time, we're going to listen to another time of the story told by this jailer to him. And that's not the most confusing things that we have here. Also, the jailer is this shape-shifting monster that can actually absorb people's memories. So, this is a series that currently has 2 books out, and as I've told you, it's pretty complex. I will say that this second book is so much easier to read than the first one, but the first one will keep you occupied for a while because you will be just like, wait a minute, are we in the present? Are we in the past? Are we in the past of the past? Or are we in the future? And that's going to be happening throughout the whole book. And it's also a pretty lighthearted fantasy. There's nothing pretty dark about it. It's just like you are going to enjoy following Kieran, and the story in the second one is really fulfilling also. So it's a really great series to start right now. And also the third one is coming out in the summer, I think. So perfect. So I have here now not a book, but a collection of books. These are the Azov masterworks. And the cool thing about this is that there are so fucking many classic sci-fis that you are going to be busy for a little while. And the cool thing about them is that they're also really short. So you can go through them in basically no time. They are quite easy to follow. They're not overly complex. You will probably have some like huge premise and the story will develop around it. There won't be any tangents of it. It won't be exaggerated world building. So you're going to go to your bed, pick one of them, and you will be good to go because, you know, not even 300 pages. So I would recommend any of them. We have here The Body Snatchers, The Penultimate Truth, but I also have here Rendezvous with Rama, and there's even Alistair Reynolds. So many good Alistair Reynolds books that you haven't tried him, you should, because he's a really good sci-fi author. But yeah, I think this is a super cool plan to just sit and relax and read some sci-fi. Another book that is more dark, but it's because it's more of a mystery thriller, is Rules for Banishing. This is a mixture between horror, mystery, fantasy, and this is about this magic road that our main protagonist is going to take to actually rescue her sister, who just vanished like a year ago. So we are going to follow this group of teenagers going through this weird test to get to the end of the road, something that actually no one have ever accomplished. And I love this book. This was featured in my most surprising books of 2019 because I didn't thought that I was going to love it as much, but I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I read it in a day because I was just so invested. And I thought that I really needed to know the ending. And it's also told in mixed media, which makes the reading experience a little bit different than usual. I will highly recommend this one, but yeah, it's kind of a more dark book than the others, but it will keep you engaged for a little bit. Of course, I have here The Expanse by James S. A. Corey. I mean, you have 8 books out. This is the 8th one. And it's going to be a 9-book long series. So you have, they are not really thick, but over the 500 pages, all of them. So you will have time to read The Expanse. And you can also binge watch the TV show at the same time because it's also fantastic. So we really need to explain about The Expanse because you should really read this. And my channel is kind of filled with The Expanse things. I will link here. I made a tag in December with the release of the 4th season that is all about The Expanse, so I will link it there. But yeah, this is super cool sci-fi and it's really immersive. And even though every book is kind of its own story, they are all connected to one end, and the ending is so near. I'm so sad, but at the same time, everyone should read The Expanse. It's such a great series. You will feel like the Rocinante is your family too. Also, The Gentleman Bastards by Scott Lynch. This is a super famous fantasy and I can't recommend it enough. I have read the 3 books that are currently out. The 4th one is coming out next year, probably. This is a super contained fantasy, especially the first one. It only happens in this town and we are going to follow this band of thieves that call themselves the Gentleman Bastards, and they serve this 13th god. We're going to be in this super complex heist story, and we follow always 2 different timelines. We start from the end and we go from there, having bits of Locke's story and bits from the present, and it just makes such a good story. It's so good. You're going to be so attached to these characters, especially with the friendship of Locke and John. It's so wholesome and it's going to make you feel good because it's a friendship that won't break because of a misunderstanding, which is what happens in most of probably YA books more than adult books. Of course, I couldn't make a list with this not on it, but this is Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe. And the reason that I'm including this here is because you have a vastly world to explore. Not only this series exists, the Arcane Ascension, we also have the World of Broken Mirrors and Wielders and Weapons. And these books had a great sense of humor. I'm not a huge fan of humor in books. I'm more of a dark person, so I really like my stories to be really dark. That's why I'm not really connecting with Nevernight. But that's another story. This just has such a genuine good humor, and the characters are so lovable, and our main protagonist is good, genuinely good. It's just such an enjoyable read. It's pretty thick also, but you're going to go through it in such a little time. And yeah, you have tons of other things to explore apart from Arcane Ascension. So I think that this book is such a great choice for this list. In Arcane Ascension, we follow Corin. He's on his judgment day and he's entering this tower where if he passes his judgment, he's going to get an atonement that will grant him magical powers. He's kind of obsessed with doing this because his brother disappeared on the day of his judgment. He's been trying to find him since that day. So, and also there's a magical school setting. It's great. Then another great sci-fi that I would really like to recommend to you is Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. Well, this is the Sun Eater series, and there are currently 2 books out. The world in this book is so vast and so complex that it's going to take you a while to understand it. So you will have to give the book time and try to understand everything that is happening, because we have this vast empire that is conquered solar systems, and there are so many politics at stake and aliens and gladiators. It's such a fun and good thing, and also the protagonist has a really good motive to act in the way he does that it's just like, yeah, another good character. Thank you. In Sun Eater, we basically follow Hadrian, and he's telling us his life story, because when we started listening from him, we discovered that he's actually the man that blew up an entire system, and we are trying to figure it out why he did it. But yeah, we're going to follow him since he's a teenager until his last days, and it's so good. I highly recommend you read the Sun Eater series. And also the 3rd book is coming out on December. Yeah, I'm going to recommend you the Percy Jackson series. I mean, we have a vast world. We have like, is it 14? I think that we have 14 books already set in the same world. You follow the same characters, but also we have new characters interacting with them, and that is so. Percy Jackson is actually a middle grade, and it's full of joy. It will bring you so much joy to read them that you will be so happy. And maybe that's what you need right now. You just need a light-hearted read that will make you feel full. You can just enjoy the time inside the house. In Percy Jackson and the Olympians, we follow Percy Jackson as he discovers that he's the son of Poseidon, making him a demigod. And he's going to go to this Camp Half-Blood to become, not to become, but kind of become a hero. And he's going to have these amazing adventures, and it's all Greek inspired and Roman inspired, and it's just fantastic. And the last book that I want to recommend you is the Truly Devious trilogy by Maureen Johnson. This is a super easy YA mystery. The mystery in this one is so well done that it will keep you just going through it at a really fast pace. They are not even that long. It's just like 300 pages. Yeah. My favorite one is still the first one. I finished the series last month, and I will say that it's so gripping, and the story is so well crafted that you're going to be super invested in who killed all of these people. In this one, we follow Stevie. She's always been obsessed with true crime. She receives this letter telling her that she's actually been accepted into this super prestigious academy called Ellingham Academy. The cool thing about this is that she is actually super obsessed with a murder that happened in this academy almost 100 years ago, and we are going to follow both timelines, 100 years ago and the present, because we now have also murders in the present. And man, this series is so good. So yeah, I think those were all my recommendations. I could recommend you more books that are, you know, just like more immersive, but I tend to read more dark books, so maybe that's not the way to go. But yeah, I think that all of them are pretty lighthearted and really immersive, and you will have tons of books to read. But yeah, I understand that quarantine is not fantastic. I mean, we are in forced quarantine, so yeah, we know. But yeah, I really hope that you are staying safe and everything is going better, at least. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!